show. You know we name it. It's going to be up here somewhere. I'm very happy to have my next guest. He's one of my closest friends in comedy. Genuinely, if I could say, one of the fastest rising stars in the New York City area, and just one of the fucking naturally funniest comedians I've had the pleasure of working with. Ladies and gentlemen, make some noise, get the applause going. Y'all know the energy for my brother, Eagle Witt.
What's up, man? How you doing?
I'm good, bro.
Good.
This nigga's grinning. He really liked the intro.
This is a nice intro. That was beautiful.
You genuinely are, dog. One thing I can say since I've met you is you not only have progressed well, but you also have had like a clear vision. And I could be wrong. This could be just like complete bullshit. But you always seem like you had a very good focus on where you wanted to go.
Yeah.
No?
No, yeah, kinda, yeah.
What's the energy? Be honest.
I mean, yeah, no, you're right. I kind of be knowing the direction. I be knowing the direction. I think for me, I know the direction of where I want to go, where the end goal is, and where all that stuff is. And I think in the beginning, I had such a mindset of like work everywhere, all the clubs. You know what I heard in the beginning when I first started? I watched an interview with Chappelle. Said the hardest thing he ever did was work every club in New York City. Mm-hmm. So immediately that became my goal. I was like, oh, I'm gonna just work every club in New York City. If I could do that, I could do anything. Mm-hmm. So then, also niggas wasn't booking me. Like comedians ain't fuck with me. Comedians are dick riders. They ain't like me in the beginning. I was killing, but they ain't like me.
Wow.
And I couldn't get a bar show for nothing.
Okay.
So then I started getting in the clubs. Yeah. But there's the thing though, is like the reason I even hesitated when you were like had a clear vision. Like once I got in all the clubs, I almost had to recalibrate because that was such a big goal and such a big thing to do. Mm-hmm. And once I did that, now I'm like, oh shit, that's done. It happened way faster than I thought it would. Mm-hmm. So once it was done, I was like, oh shit, now I got to set a whole new mindset about this whole shit.
Yeah.
Because that was easy. That was 3 years. I did that in 3 years.
Yeah.
Now I got to do other shit.
Yeah, but that's, I've spoken to other comedians, and we'll continue this within the conversation of it's a long game.
Yeah.
So set the goals, but yeah, you're gonna be in it. Like you are one of those people that I know, dog. You're not gonna stop, even if you stop, stand up for whatever reason. Like life changes your direction, you're still gonna be in this for a long ass time. So
yeah.
You gotta constantly develop that skill of developing new goals.
Yeah, and things happen faster than you think sometimes. You know what I mean? That was the biggest thing that made me recalibrate. Is I'm like, oh, I didn't know 3 years. Damn. Yeah. Like when I'm like, oh. That's it?
Your life could change drastically, especially as an entertainer, bro. Drastically change.
Quick.
In a couple months.
Yeah.
Yeah. So you feel since your success when you started like booking comedy clubs and like solidifying yourself, do you feel like people watching you started treating you completely different? Like, did they go I've always been a fan. Did they do that?
Little by little, but okay. So definitely the seller changed people, and then also. Once the hype just started building, you know how hype is. You start killing around and different people. When the veterans who are securing themselves start talking good about you, then the comics that are insecure about themselves start treating you like a veteran.
Yeah, it's like,
you know what I mean?
You always been great, man.
Yeah,
I saw
you know who I love? I love Eagle Witt. Yeah. No, you don't. You think I'm trash? Say it with your chest. You think I don't know how to write a joke? That's fine. That's absolutely
crazy.
Fine. You can't follow me. That's fine.
Talk your shit. Go crazy, bro. I love that shit. I hope we got that on that camera. That's fucking great, bro. So I also want to make sure for people who don't know you, give me a little bit. Love asking this. What's your origin story?
What is my superhero? What the fuck does that mean?
You know I'm a nerd, dog. So like, okay, origin story. Cause the way I'm not into basketball, you're not into.
I'm not into comic book shit. None of that shit.
Got you. So to break it down, it's like, all right, don't give me the generic. Well, I started at this age. I don't care. Mm-hmm. It's more like, ask this: who were your early comedy influences? Whether they be comedians, regular life. Like, what was those first? I want to be in this inklings that you.
I didn't want to be in stand up. I didn't want to do stand up till I was a grown ass man. Like I didn't want to do stand up till I did stand up. Like I didn't want to do stand up till I was like 20, 21.
Really?
Yeah. My whole life everybody told me to do stand up. Literally since I was like 9, and I'd always be like, I'm good. Like I'm not a clown. Like I ain't respect it. I didn't know what went into it. And I love stand up. I watched it since I was like when I was a little kid. When like other little kids watch cartoons, I'd watch Def Jam. But I didn't know that I was doing something different. Like, I'd go to school and be like, Chris Tucker's crazy. And kids would be like, what the fuck are you talking about?
Yeah.
Like, Hey Arnold. And I'd be like, nigga, what are you talking about? Like, I was so into stand-up. But I thought that was normal. I thought everybody loved stand-up. And then I was funny, and everybody would be like, you should do stand-up. And I'd be like, nigga, no. Like, I'm not doing stand-up. That's corny. Like, I'm going to be a 5'10" NBA player. Like, I was stupid.
Oh,
yeah.
You
I had hoop
basketball
dreams. Yeah, I had basketball dreams. And then when I was like, I don't know, like 18. Well, at 16, I decided I'm not going to the NBA. At 16, I was playing ball in Cali. I had went out to Cali for a year in high school, and I was playing ball in like a top 500 prospect. I never told you this story.
No, I'm listening.
Like a top 500.
I'm here with this.
A top 500 prospect. We was playing against him. Some hood school. All the hood schools in Cali, niggas is nice. And here's the thing. And to get into the NBA, you got to be like a top 50 high school prospect.
Yeah.
Maybe even better, right? This dude was a top 500 prospect, which is impressive, but you're not going to the NBA. This nigga drove down the lane, windmilled on our tallest player, wrapped his legs around his face, and screamed, "How my balls taste, nigga?" and ran down the court. And I remember thinking, he ain't going to the NBA, and I can't do that. And that was literally the day my dreams died. I was like, oh, I can't, like, no, there's no way.
I'm not the best, worst guy. Like,
Yeah.
This really bad
He's
guy.
the best, he's the worst of the best.
Yeah.
And I'm not even one of the best.
Yeah. Wow.
And I was like, I'm not going.
How my balls that whoever that guy was,
Ooh.
also dreams died.
Died
Yeah.
immediately.
Or his fantasies began. Like,
Oh my God. That or his fantasies began.
His fantasies had to begin,
Hey, you
right?
never know. Whatever you're into.
And that day I found my husband. That's fucking
Yeah.
crazy, bro.
And then I still didn't know what I wanted to do for mad long. I was like, I guess I'm gonna just be homeless. I don't got no other skills. I don't know what I'm gonna do. And then at like 18, 19, I started thinking maybe I should, all right, I could do stand-up. Even 17 a little bit. I was like, oh, maybe one day. But I was scared to do it. I didn't want to do it. I was scared. And then like 21, I started.
Okay.
Yeah, 20, 21.
Wow. So all that, was there some moment of like clarity that just made you start? You said you were scared. So like, what was the shift?
I was going to BMCC for a semester or two, and we went to this McDonald's. You know Curtis Sterling?
Yes.
He was doing security at the McDonald's, and he was passing out these flyers for Eastville. He had a show he used to run at Eastville, and one of my boys, he picked up the flyer, and he was like, "Yo, my nigga's a comedian," and I was like, "No, I'm not." And I'd never done stand up, but I was always talking about it, like you know what I mean? Like I want to do that shit. I'd be nice. He was like, "My nigga's a comedian," and I was like, "No." And then Curtis was like, "Come by, I'll throw you 5 minutes." And they were like, "Yo, we gonna bring this nigga. He gonna go." And like the business was there. Yeah, go. And I'm like, And I went, and I was nervous. I had a piece of paper. I was shaking and shit. I was trash. But Curtis would throw me up once a month. He'd throw me up 5 minutes, you know. And I started that way, and I would slowly, and then I started slowly. But I actually quit. I did it one time. Now I think about it. I did it one time. I went to an open mic before this happened, and I quit.
He was like, it's hard.
And my sister got me, when the Curtis thing happened, she was like, yo, do it. She was like, nobody's good their first time. You so naturally funny. Like, do this shit. And if you hate it, you can quit for real. And I didn't hate it. I loved it. You know, you get that one big laugh. It's a wrap.
That's funny.
Yeah.
Wow. That I genuinely did not know that part of your origin story.
Yeah, I know.
'Cause I remember when I first started seeing you, I started seeing you like the Greenwich Village open mic. And I remember when I first met you, because remember you told me this. Because this is actually how our friendship began. I was hanging with some other comic at the time. Remember the crazy dude who went wild?
Yes.
Right?
Yeah.
I was hanging with him a lot. You would hang with me, and you were kind of around and stuff like that. And I remember Eagle calling my bluff. He was like, yo, I don't think Babbitt liked me.
Yeah, because you didn't like me. And and it annoyed me. I was like, why this nigga don't like me? I don't understand.
And it wasn't I didn't like you. When I first met you, keep in mind, I'm also young too. You came in like this. Like that's just literally
I'm a lot.
physically what you were doing.
I'm always a lot, yeah.
And I was like, the fuck is this big head nigga? Like, I promise you.
He ain't like the size of my head. You told me this before. It was the size of my head bothered you.
I was confused. Because, you know, like, all jokes aside, when you just, like, get to know a human being, you're just like, who is this figure?
Yeah.
So, at the time, I didn't know you that well, so I was just trying to get used to your energy. But once you called me on that, that's always also how I gauge character. you called me on that. I was like, oh, that's not what I mean. Now I do like this nigga.
Yeah.
That's all it took. And from that moment, and besides the fact, us coming up together, you hustle, there's so many things. I'm like, oh no, you're literally one of my favorite fucking people.
Oh, you too, man.
So
Absolutely.
genuinely, it's like, it's always a good time. But I remember when I first saw you, you seemed to me like you was hungry.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And that's great to see.
I mean, I was very hungry. But the crazy, I was literally starving.
I gotta keep the food. Like
I've gained a good 100 pounds since then, and I'm still skinny. I was dying.
Oh shit! So money. So you're one of those. I've said this before on the show, and I've also said this in real life that most comedians are either fun poor kids or sad rich kids. And
yeah, that's such a good analogy.
Fun poor kid.
Fun poor kid for sure.
Fun poor kid.
Absolutely.
Yeah, was it? Yeah, it's all right.
You're right though. That's such a good assessment. Yeah, sad rich, fun poor.
Sad rich, because every sad rich kid is like, I want to tell jokes. I'm like, why?
Nobody in between.
No.
There's no middle class comedians that are funny. It's either sad rich or fun poor.
Yeah.
That's so good.
Yeah,
I'm never gonna get over this. I'm gonna tell everybody this.
Yeah.
Sad rich, fun poor. I'm categorizing people in my head right now.
Which one are you? Are you sad rich or fun poor?
Yeah, like I'm fun poor, but I know the sad riches.
Yeah. There's a lot of them.
Yeah.
I think Seinfeld is like the epitome
sad
of
rich.
sad rich.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's like, I had money, but
probably Sandler maybe.
yeah, Sandler.
Right?
Sandler was like rich and artsy. So like you could just tell he didn't feel comfortable in his spaces of like structure and stuff like that. So he's like, oh, I'm gonna play the guitar, because they also have a weird thing about them too.
They do.
That shows off their richness, like Seinfeld being in the suits and prestige and blah blah blah. That's showing off his money. Sandler having props.
Yeah.
You gotta have money to have some props.
Yeah, you don't see black prop comics because we can afford the props.
I can't get a fucking kazoo. Like, where do you get a kazoo
Nigga,
from?
Jamie played the piano because the piano was at the club.
Yo.
He didn't bring the piano. He didn't bring a keyboard.
Every church has a piano.
Yeah.
That's why he knows piano.
Absolutely.
Yeah. There's no black comedian like, I played an accordion.
There will never be a black carrot top, nigga.
No.
You gotta afford a whole chest of props, all them
Jaden
toys.
Smith, if he wants to do it, that's the
Oh
only
my
guy
God.
who can do
Absolutely.
it. But yeah, so, as a fun poor kid, that's what I'm calling people.
Yeah.
Is what was like your, now coming back to full circle to the origin story, family. Was there somebody, were you the funny person?
I was a funny person.
Okay, nobody.
But I do have a funny family. But I'm definitely the funny person.
Yeah, like there's nobody like.
Like if you were to ask them, they'd be like,
yeah.
But they're funny. I think they're funny. You know what I mean? Like they're all funny in their own way. But yeah. But that's the youngest person in the family. You break the tension. You know.
You're the baby.
I'm the baby.
Okay.
And my family got a lot of tension, so I be getting my practice in.
What's the tension like? What's that kind of energy?
They just, it's family drama, and I'm always the person. It's some bullshit. I'm always the person to break up some shit to the point. Even when shit get real wild, I be like, so y'all just gonna let me be the only one? Y'all were just about to watch. Y'all were just pay-per-view. Y'all was just gonna watch this shit. Like, I'll give you a story. I was, I don't know if I should say this on camera. Whatever. So, I was in LA, right? Somebody had the idea to get my whole family together, like the 6 of us, the immediate family. Might have been my dad's idea. It sounds like his corny white idea.
White dad, by the way.
White dad. So we all go to LA or whatever. My sisters live in LA. One of my sisters is braiding my hair, right? I'm in between her legs. The other sister sitting to the side, brother sitting to the side. They watch it on TV. Mom, dad in the crib, right? One of my sisters is like a poppin' entrepreneur, right? My other sister, she fine too. She does great. She got a nice family, everything, right? But it's just one is, yeah, they're different. So we at that sister's crib, right? The one that's not the entrepreneur. And the one that's on the entrepreneur is on her laptop. And the other sister said, hey, what I tell you about like work in my house, like if you're in my house, no work, right? And my brother, the instigator he is, whispered to my sister that's an entrepreneur, he's like, would Diddy let her do that? He's like, would Jay-Z let somebody tell them they can't conduct business? Some shit like that. Like said some real instigating entrepreneur talking shit.
Would Gary Vee allow
that? To be honest, I think it was before Trump, and I think he might have used Trump. I think it was like before Trump became a monster to everybody. I think he was like, would Trump let somebody tell him where he could do business? And my sister like stood up and started scrapping, like they fighting over me. I'm like, oh shit. And I'm the only one breaking it up, and I broke it up. I got punched. Keep in mind, the one whose house it was, she could fight like a nigga. Like I seen her knock bitches out before. Like she's a wild boy. Like she's crazy. And she punched me, my shit red. I had no shirt on. I'm like, yo. And all my rest of my family just watching like it's pay-per-view. Like, nigga, if y'all don't fucking help me break this shit up.
Help me!
And then my mom lectured me, that you don't break up fights. What if they would have tried to stab each other? I'm like, Mom, they're not gonna try to stab each other.
Whoa!
Like they sisters.
Your mom's logic was, don't break it up, because it could escalate.
My mom's whole logic is always, don't try to break up a fight, you might end up dead. And I'm like, all right.
Jesus Christ,
Yeah.
ridiculous. Don't break up that fight. Someone might have a gun.
This isn't even me being funny to break the tension. This is me literally breaking the tension by stopping violence.
Oh, fuck, man. That's crazy. So you always kind of played the catalyst of like, all right, were you also, because I know I was this within my household sometimes, especially with my older brothers when they were going crazy, it'd be go talk to your brother, calm him down. Were you that? Like, would your mom send you to your sisters?
No.
Okay.
I was too much younger than everybody. I'm like way younger than everybody. I was just funny. Like, I was just always cracking jokes, even when there's no tension. I don't know. I like being funny. You know that.
Yeah,
you like being funny.
Yeah, of course. It's the game. So, but that's fun to hear. You know what I mean? Now, as the funny person, was it your, like, in some ways catalyst to like your escape, or it was kind of even? I ain't trying to make you. Wait.
I didn't know you was gonna hit me with such a deep question, man. I mean, I escaped some demons, you know.
Yo, I'm gonna take this moment and put like real sad music, and like, I'm gonna slow it down.
Oh, that's fire.
I'm gonna slow it down.
That's fire. That's fire.
I escaped the demons. Oh shit.
That's fire.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I'm sure maybe. You know, I didn't know this shit was gonna get real Oprah on me or nothing. But, you know. Whatever, I'm a real nigga. Toxic like masculinity, anime. Who? Baby, I'm not fragile. Let's be out here. You know?
Nah, you fucking
whatever. I'll cry right now. I don't give a fuck.
Okay, let's
I like crying.
Cry?
I like crying.
Cry?
Break me, Babbitt. Make me cry in your interview.
I don't like the way you said that. I'm gonna be honest.
Hey, yo, you know what? I would add a joke, but we could get canceled for whatever joke follows that right now.
I love everybody. Let's take a commercial break. But nah, it's just because, you know, I just like asking to understand how the comics work. You know, we've had a lot of people, and I guess I'll lead into a constant question I ask, which is like, what's your writing process? Because so many black artists, I don't think, get the credit as a writer, and I think you are. People look at your energy.
I mean, I definitely don't get writing credit at all.
Yeah.
Jesus, since I started, you know this.
Yeah. What do you think people give you?
They don't give me credit for my writing, which is bullshit in my opinion, because I think my jokes are very well written. Here's the thing. In fairness, I don't write. Give me my writing credit. I don't write though. I don't write, but you better tell me I wrote well.
Eagle has no pens.
None. I get pens for my calendar, which I hardly even use. I just try to memorize my dates. Where am I at tonight? I think I remember. Somebody tag me. I'm gonna go there. Yeah. I like have a process, but it's not necessarily like writing the way everybody else writes. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. Like my process is I have a funny idea. Like I think something's funny, something or an idea, I can make it funny, right? I write down the idea in my phone, which would literally just be like not even legible to someone reading it. Like it wouldn't make sense to anyone reading it. They wouldn't be able to comprehend it. Yeah. Like I have an idea about mass shootings or whatever, and I say it's about rappers and guns, right? So I'll just put in my phone rapper gun. Like, nobody knows what the fuck that means. Rapper gun. Somebody can steal my joke notes and never be able to steal my jokes. Like,
it's hieroglyphic.
It's psychotic. They'd be like, what the fuck is this? Is
rapper
he
gun.
Schizophrenic? What is he talking about?
Yeah.
So I put down the idea. I go on stage. I just formulate things a lot, like in my head. Like you see me work shit out. Usually if I work shit out, it's not short. Usually it's already like 3 minutes long. It might not be tight, but I tend to like formulate a lot off of an idea. So I already have it in my head, and if I think it's funny, it automatically becomes memorable to me. So it's like, once I think it's funny, I'm not gonna forget it, as long as I write down the idea. I could forget if I don't write down the idea. Mm-hmm. But if I just write down rapper guns, I'll look at that and be like, oh, I remember everything that I was thinking when I wrote that down. Yeah. Then I go on stage, riff the punchlines, riff it all, record the set, sometimes I listen. I don't even really listen like that, but record the set just in case. Riff it, riff it, riff it. Just keep doing that all around town. Keep riffing it wherever I go. Riff, 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 until it starts repeating and sounding tighter, and then I trim the fat, joke, or bit, you know?
So wow, that's interesting. So you kind of believe in the bit 1000% early on.
Oh yeah.
You just like I know some comics, they go, all right, I kind of have this idea, but I'll bomb it through. You like, no, I think it's funny from jump. I'm just figuring it out, like the little note things to like tie it to other shit.
Yeah, for me, it's like I already think it's funny. I just got to perfect it so there's not as much fat, because I can tend to over talk because I'm trying to sell the idea, right? But that's it. Like the funny's already there. The tags are there. Like I'll add more tags, but the tags, most of them are there. Of course, occasionally one or two of them will bomb, right? But whatever. But the funny's already. I believe in my shit 100%. Because like when I think of the idea, I'm gonna go, oh, like if I laugh, people will laugh. Okay. I have a good sense of humor, so they should be able to fuck with this.
That's fine. That's interesting because I think that bleeds into like your character overall. You have a sense of you believe in yourself.
Yeah. For
real. So even the fact that you don't necessarily write, you are writing. You're just keeping it in your head.
Yeah. I write like like I just don't literally. You know. Also, I don't write in the same format that a lot of comedians do, and that's why I've also gotten a lot of the like he don't know how to write a joke. Because you right, nigga, I don't know how to write a joke the way y'all do. Yeah. It doesn't mean I don't know how to write a joke, because my jokes work and they sound like jokes. But I don't, you know how there's like a process? Yeah. You know what I mean? Like there's certain comics genuinely write like it's like, this is how you write a joke. Yeah. Set up, punchline. They could do, I've seen people do the branches, you know what I'm saying? Like Nico be doing the branches, all that shit. I don't know how to do none of that. Like I genuinely can't take an idea and put it on paper and do a Venn diagram to get to punchlines. I would bomb every time. Like I don't know how that's even funny. I don't know how to do that. Comics do it and they kill and they're great and they're funny. Me personally, it doesn't work for me. I just need to think something's funny in my head and then kind of like make it funnier. Yeah, I guess because sometimes people write off and say you're like just naturally funny, but why is that negative? It shouldn't be.
It's like, oh, so God gave me this talent?
Oh, I'm sorry.
I didn't have to work at that. Yeah, but that's great. And you do work at it, because that's the other thing I want to give you your credit for. You just said you go show to show to show. Like,
for sure.
That's your training.
Well, I write on stage. That's another way to write. A lot of comics do write on stage and act like it's mind-blowing when someone does. Like, if I'm like, I write on stage, oh, you write on stage. It's like, yeah, nigga, a lot of us do. Yeah. Like, yeah, when I'm on stage, I'm coming up with shit. The way I look at it is like, pressure makes diamonds or bust pipes, right? Fire. And I've always been a person that thrives under pressure. I never do bad under pressure. I'm very good under pressure. So I take that about myself and I go, if I take a joke idea on stage, the pressure from the crowd looking at me, right? Nigga, be funny, right? Be funny, is gonna make me come up with some fire ass tags. Cause I got that pressure of them being like, you better make me laugh. And I'm like, all I got is this funny premise, but I could try this, let's try this, and the shit be hitting.
Yeah. Oh, it's so, that's so weird. It's good, but it's you literally are purposely throwing yourself in the fire at every show.
Yes.
Wow. Not studious, but also, wow, that's fire. That's a fire way.
But the shit you come up with be better like that, for me at least. Not for everybody.
So here's something that I know some comics have a hard time with, but in what you just explained to me, that wouldn't be hard for you. You would enjoy going after somebody who essentially is a killer. Like,
oh yeah, I love it.
Yeah.
I love it.
Because it'll push you. How do you look at that moment? Like if you went, like at the Cellar, you're passing the Comedy Cellar in the Village, so you could sometimes go after a Chappelle. Yeah. Rock.
I went after Chappelle once. I think I love it. It's great. First of all, the thing though, but this is the main thing I'd say the Cellar teaches you is like going after somebody who killed is just a trick. It's not very much like you gotta be better or you gotta kill harder. Or, it's literally just like once you figure out how to do it, every time.
It's another skill set.
It's just a skill set, yeah. And you do, and I will say the Cellar teaches you that. The Cellar will teach you like, oh, you go after anybody and just, you figure out like, oh, I don't even know how to explain what it is, but it's a thing. It's a thing that you could like, I don't know how to explain what it is, but it's something that I learned there naturally just by the repetitive, like go after this person, go after this person, go after this person. And a lot of it is just like, you're your truest self anyway, right? You're there for you put it like this: if you really believe you dope, and you bringing them something different than what they just had, and you got to keep in mind the crowd is happy. Look, there's nothing better than going up in front of a happy crowd. We all know that.
Yes.
No crowd is happier than a crowd that just had a killer on stage.
Yeah. All you gotta do is keep that up.
All you got to do is not suck.
Yeah.
You don't even got to be on their level.
Yeah.
If you don't suck, you'll probably kill harder than the person who's actually better than you. Because they're already happy. They're so happy.
It sounds like you're learning to flip energy and momentum. It's like if you see a vibe or whatever, it's like they already eating.
It's like if Shaq was allowed in basketball to just barrel through everybody, right? And then you whack at basketball, but you got an open lane for a layup.
Yeah.
You gonna make that layup.
Yeah.
There's nobody there.
I'm making all the layups.
If Chappelle go up, he's the greatest comic alive. He murders. The crowd is now like, I'll laugh at anything. I'm having a great night. You know what I mean? Like, they're so happy. Yeah, like they just in a good mood.
Yeah, they commit to their role as the audience because they had such a master.
He was a drug for them. They're high now. Now it's just.
He's a crackhead that's already on it.
But people will fuck it up because they get nervous and they get in their head and they, and crowds can read that subconsciously.
Do you feel that pressure comes in any way for yourself?
What do you mean?
Like the nervousness. Did you have this clarity of like, oh, I'm fine, I know myself, this, that, and the third, or were you nervous your first couple times going after the quintessential killers?
Well, when I first got in there, my audition was after Tom Papa. Everybody was like, Tom Papa's a fucking beast, blah, blah, blah. Damn, they got you auditioning after him. I'm be honest, respectfully, I didn't know that much about the nigga. And I was like,
ignorance is bliss sometimes.
Yeah, but everybody was telling me like, oh, you a murderer, right? And when I came downstairs, it's like a Friday night audition, he's murdering. And I was like, fuck it. I'm here now. This is my audition. I got to do it, right? And I killed. But my first set in there, after getting passed, they had me following a tell. And I remember thinking like, what the fuck? I think my first set, y'all gonna have me follow this nigga? And Attell was doing what Attell does. He was murdering, and he was like really, really murdering. Sometimes he don't really try that hard. He was trying, he was killing. And I remember I turned to whoever was hosting. I think it was Jared Free, because I always tell him this story. And I go, man, they got me following Attell. And he looked at me, he goes, welcome to the cellar, and turned around. And I was like, and I was nervous. I'm be honest, I was nervous.
Yeah.
And I went up and killed.
Yeah.
But it's just, crowds are dumb. Crowds are stupid. You know what I mean? Yeah. Like, I don't like when people say crowds are dumb as if they dumb material-wise. I don't think crowds are dumb material-wise. I think comics are bougie material-wise. Yes. Crowds are not dumb. They're literally who we perform for. But they're dumb on a level of, like, thinking anyone's better than anyone else, like, knowing the history of someone. You know what I mean? Like, they're going into it like, oh, another great comedian. They have no fucking idea. They're all positive. Like, not all of them, but most crowds are like, this person's probably gonna be funny. I paid money. They're probably good. They're a professional.
It's a blanket. I just want to laugh.
Yeah,
they don't care.
They're not thinking as deep as we are.
No. Yeah, I can completely understand that, because that's why when you give or take when you first start and overall as you progress, people go, whoever the biggest comedian in the world is, you. Mm-hmm. That there's no like, they're not like, my third favorite comedian is.
There is none.
You.
Yep.
Biggest guy in the world.
That's all they know.
Yeah.
That's all they think about.
Yeah. So it's like, all right, cool. Can you stand? Can you make it? Can you make it slide? Fine. You
That's
should
it.
be here.
That's it.
Yeah.
That's all they think about. Yeah. And there's so much unrealistic things in their head spinning around after they see somebody that was funny. Yeah. That's all that matters.
First show you do, you should headline the Garden. What?
Like, what?
You saw me do 3 minutes. But I get that, bro, and it seems like you do very well, like simplifying what this is. You don't. I could be wrong here, but it doesn't feel like you get too caught up in all of the like nuances of the game and all that other shit. Am I wrong in that sense?
I try to, not. If that makes. I try not to. I try not to. It's hard. Mm-hmm. You know how it is. It's hard. Sometimes especially we got egos and shit, but all I could do is be funnier. You know what I mean? Like, that's it, is just keep trying to be funnier. Mm-hmm. And eventually, I do believe the cream rises to the top, if it's truly the cream. And I think that takes a lot. I think it's so many things that go into being great that I think people don't look at. And I don't even mean on like a like doing multiple things, comedy level, you know, business level. I mean, like on a straight up like stand up level, where like I'd be like, what separates these stand ups from those stand ups? Because there's a lot of great niggas, and then there's great niggas, like the GOATs, you feel me?
Yeah.
And there's something that separates them, and people would like to blame it on industry and business and all this shit, but it's not.
Yeah.
It's truly not.
It's the it factor.
Maybe, I think it's more than that.
Okay.
I really do. I think it's more than that.
Okay. If you had and I got 2 more questions, then we good. But I appreciate you sharing your fucking time. If you had to say maybe 3 to 5 things that you just feel like are the thing that you know are common factors with the super great people.
The super great people.
Like the legends of legends.
The legends of legends.
Yeah.
The Chappelles, the Pryors, the Rocks, the white comics that white comics love.
I just want to put that in context. The white comics love. Like Andy, who?
No, let me not be shitty. The Louis,
the white. You can't
yeah, the Louis, the Burrs. You know, there are white comics that are
legends.
absolutely legends for sure. I left out Carlin. He's not one of my favorites. I don't care. I'll just be honest. Genuinely, I genuinely think the thing that makes them better than everyone else, and it's not industry or nothing like that to put them niggas on top, is they're literally interesting. Like to watch somebody for an hour, right? Not in person. In person, whatever, nigga. Anybody can watch somebody for an hour in person if they're killing. But to watch somebody for an hour from home, where you have distractions, you got a bitch texting you, you got food coming, you want to jerk off, nigga, right? You got to clean your crib, your mom yelling, you know, mad different distractions, right?
Yeah.
To watch somebody for an hour and just watch one person on stage, it's not because they funny, bro. It's because they're more interesting than anything else you could be watching at that moment, anything you could be doing at that moment. You want to know what's going on in their head. That's rare, bro.
Yeah, an interesting person.
Interesting, bro. To be interesting is rare, bro. And it's something you can't even try. You either interested or you're not. Like you see niggas all the time try to be interested. They try to like come up with a dope perspective and them niggas, and you just be like, like you could tell it's manufactured.
Yeah, I wish somebody cooler was saying this. Like,
yeah, you like interesting. Think about it. Any legendary comic you could think of, they grab your attention for the whole time they're on stage because they're interesting. And it's not because they're funny.
Yeah, I think it applies even outside of comedy. Like when I think of one of the most interesting people I love, I'm a big fan of like Snoop Dogg, Andre 3000. I would watch that dude eat rice. Like I just want to see.
How could you not? Andre 3000 is like
interesting. Nigga,
he's a walking sunflower.
Yeah.
I can't even picture Andre wearing regular clothes. I can't do it. I can't do it.
Either. And if Andre 3000 told me he had a skill, I'd believe him no matter what the skill is.
Anything.
Yeah. Oh yeah, you play the flute backwards? I don't know how you
I believe him,
but I know he doesn't.
I ride unicycles with my head. What? All right, yeah, nigga, I believe it. He seems like a Dr. Seuss character. He doesn't seem real, which is so interesting.
Yeah.
But that also can't be manufactured. You can't walk around dressed like Andre 3000 and pretend that you goofy and weird. If you're not.
Yeah. It's like, what's wrong with you? First person that says what's wrong with you, you're like, you're right. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
I was trying something.
Yeah.
You break character.
We all know comedians that are like funnier than Chappelle. Legit. Mm-hmm. People don't like to say that. We know comedians that are funnier than Chappelle. Mm-hmm. They're not more interesting than Chappelle. Yes. We don't know one comedian that's more interesting than Chappelle.
No, he's very interesting. I share stories.
Unbelievably interesting.
I share stories I've heard from the industry about Chappelle that I was not a part of, but it's so interesting.
That you gotta tell people.
I gotta tell
you are helping make that nigga great.
Yeah.
And people will be like, the reason blah, blah, blah ain't an icon is because of the industry. It's not the industry, nigga. After a while, the cream will rise. Yeah. And the cream is the niggas that are captivating or the niggas that are so interesting that people can't stop but listen.
Like, what's he say?
What's he gotta say?
That's very fair. Thank you for that. That's gonna be a great gem. And the last question I gotta ask, or it's just something how we like close off. And this is your camera, this is like your main camera, so look at it, say whatever you're gonna say. But the question is, if a person watching this, whether they're like a younger version of you, someone who comes from your vein of artistry, mindset, whatever, if you could tell them one thing.
I already know. Go ahead though.
There it is. If you could tell them one thing, what would you say?
I would say, listen, man, honestly, the first time you have sex with a girl, right, and she tells you not to wear a condom, and keep in mind, I don't got no STDs, no babies, nothing like that. don't take the condom off. Because once you take the condom off, you're not going to want to put it back on ever again. And I always think that's like my biggest regret in life. Is like a bitch was like, no, fuck me raw. And I was like, all right. Yeah, she's on birth control. And once I started doing it, I was like, condoms, yuck. Nigga. But I wish I loved condoms the way I did before that moment. Because before that moment, I thought condoms were great. Nigga, never fuck raw until like you married, my nigga, for real, for real. Because it's gonna be a problem, for real. Like you're not gonna be able to stop. And you're always gonna be worried about STDs and pregnancies. And they're not gonna come probably, right? Because if it's younger meat, they ain't come. But the point is, keep the condom on forever, for real. Just keep having condom sex.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is Eagle Witt with the closing statements of keep having condom sex.
Condom sex is a game changer.
That was fantastic. You know what? That was so specific to young Eagle. That was the only one that I think a person said, oh, young me. You mean me at 18? I know what this brother needs to know. Trying to keep him on the righteous path.
Hey, man.
I thank you so much, man. This was
Thank
very
you.
fun.
This is very fun.
Thank you so much, bro.
Appreciate
this
you.
was a great one. Thank y'all. Like, subscribe, show us a lot of love, and I'll see y'all next time. Peace. Great time, man.
Dope, man.
Hey guys, thank y'all for watching Behind the Mic Stand. If y'all enjoyed it, as I think you did, because you made it to the end, like, subscribe, make sure you hit that notification button so you hear the subscriptions and shit. You know how it works. Just like it. Stop skipping this part and do it right now. What? Somewhere right here. I think it's right here.